they've really stepped it up. I mean, it's not about entertainment. It's not about, going on the debate stage with all of these other folks running and allowing them to just create a mockery out of the process. He's in this, and he's very serious about it. I mean, they've done a really great job, top to bottom, with just making sure that everything is very professional. It's very buttoned up. Everything is done very, very, very well, in my opinion. And I think they've come a really long way, and I just want to commend that team.
And I also want to commend the volunteers. We've talked about all of the volunteers who have been on the ground here in Iowa for months campaigning for the Trump team. I actually stopped by the Trump campaign headquarters last weekend and met with some of the volunteers who were making phone calls to people in their district, putting together signs. As I was there was one woman who showed up, and they were hauling all these signs out to her car. So the Trump volunteers, or the volunteers who are out there supporting President Trump, kudos to them, because they work long hours, and these are the people who love this country. They're going and spending their time hours on end, days on end, making phone calls, putting together flyers for the mail to mail out to people, and just really wanting to make a difference. And they're not getting paid for it. They're there because they love this country. So thank you to all the volunteers out there as well.
Yeah, you had a good chance to spend some time with them and go to that party. That was unique experience, and let's turn our attention to Congress for a second. I think you're starting to see more and more rhinos, more and more people that have been in Congress for 20, 30 years. I mean, some even been in Congress for just like 5 years. But they're starting to all of a sudden figure out it's not really for them. And I wonder why, because I think the American people are on to these people that have gotten in these positions, and they have become America first. That's their public perception, but their voting record does not reflect an America First agenda. So you've got retirements coming up. You've got people that are switching districts. I know that Lauren Boebert has switched districts. She's no longer running, I think, in the 4th. I think she's going to run in the 14th, I believe. She's going across the state to a different district because her polling in the district that she's in now was so bad that she's going to go ahead and try and go for an open seat. That's a seat that's being vacated for someone who's retiring. You've got some people switching around. But, it's interesting when the rubber meets the road, and it's like once you find out someone is truly not an America First elected official, the people seem to push back on that. And the people do have the power to run people out of Washington.
Well, and I think America First, what a lot of people get wrong, too, it's the energy that's behind it. And if you can't keep up with the energy that is behind it, then you can't hang with us. I mean, honestly, Donald Trump set the tone for America First, and there are folks that aren't able to keep up with it. I think that I think DeSantis is the perfect example of that. I think he did a great job in his state, but I think when he hits the national stage and tries to be America First, there's nobody like Donald Trump.
Who do you blame for that? I blame the consultants. I think he was swarmed by consultants, and they told him that you have a chance, you can win, that people can get behind you. And like you said, lack of energy, lack of momentum. But I think he's been sold that he was bigger than he was. Because consultants make money, people fundraising make money off them. And I think they've rode that pony down the track as far as they're going to ride him. Because honestly, when he turns out in Florida, what is he going to do?
Right, and I think it's also sincerely misreading the country with the mean tweets. I think that the tweets they were what connected people with the president, and it gave unprecedented access to a White House, to an Oval Office. And I don't think that Ron DeSantis can keep up with that. I mean, Donald Trump is unfiltered. What you see is what you get. He's not on a teleprompter. These people can't keep up with that because they don't know it. Donald Trump created it. And so there's something to that. And I think that it's just because you can't fake it. And I think that when push came to shove, Ron DeSantis stepped out on the stage, and he he had to be too too automated and too kind of looking at the teleprompter to tell him how to be America first, and that was where the problem was.
He's a great governor. Do not get me wrong. He's probably one of the best governor that we have in the country right now. So Ron DeSantis has done amazing things for the state of Florida, and he will continue to while he's governor.
But people love loyalty.
But they love
loyalty. And he
loyalty.
wasn't loyal to President Trump. And the MAGA movement is so strong, and people are so stern on what they believe in, especially right now in this day and age, that when you mix the two, so you have you believe what you believe, but when you turn your loyalty on someone, America, people don't like that. And so, yes, great governor. I was Ron DeSantis, America's governor for months and for a long time. The minute he announced his candidacy for president, I didn't like it at all because he was disloyal. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to continue this conversation, but first let's talk about our friends over at Birch Gold. That's right. They'll show you how to convert that traditional IRA into a gold-backed IRA. They are the experts in gold.
How are you good people doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Appreciate you guys all tuning in right here. I know some of y'all are confused. I am right here. Not gone anywhere. Just making sure you guys are tuning in right now. I know a lot of y'all are like, what is going on? Well, right now, I just wanted you guys to make sure, I wanted to be sure that that all of you guys were going to be able to come in here and YouTube was going to alert you to and let you know that I am live. All right. So I don't know if any of my moderators are in here right now. I want to say shout out and hello to all of you guys. Some of my regulars are in here. I see William Lynn is in the house. My most unsubscribed subscriber is in the house. Oh, man. K. Michael, appreciate you being here, sir. Appreciate you being here. Adams, Alicia Adams is in the house. Appreciate you being here. Pamela Perry is in the house. And I know there's other people that are in here watching. Let me let y'all know something for the ones that may have watched my last live stream I did with Donald Trump in the town hall. Don't be in here acting like a snowflake, okay? Don't be in here acting like a snowflake. I will blast you, and I do not care what you think of me, but I will blast you. Because some of y'all lost y'all minds. Y'all got in here. You are a liberal. Y'all have nothing, don't know nothing about me or this channel, and jumped right in. Y'all melted down because I had the audacity to criticize President Trump, who I'm very fond of. So you know what was really crazy about that is, like I said, it shows you guys that y'all, if you respond to somebody criticizing Trump, I'm not talking about calling him orange man bad and, oh, Trump is a dictator and Trump is going to bring this country down. Oh, Trump is a womanizer. Trump is a racist. He's a xenophobic. We're not talking about things like that. We're talking about criticizing the strategy, criticizing how he comes off, criticizing things he should stay focused on, et cetera, et cetera. Some of y'all responded like the left responds. Y'all just issued, how dare you say something about Trump? I can't believe you. Y'all were losing y'all minds. Breathe. It's okay. It's sad when y'all look just like the left. I mean, I'm serious. That's kind of scary. Y'all acting like Trump, y'all daddy. No, anyway. Again, appreciate y'all being in here. I just wanted to leave that video up a little bit right there because I do know that he's going to be speaking in about 15 minutes, they say. And once he do that, we'll play it. For the ones who had an attitude about me being on the screen, I'd advise you to go watch it somewhere else. Yes, I'm going to be commenting when it's proper. I'm going to be taking notes, and I'm going to be giving what I call my opinion, which all of you have one, and so do I. If you get upset at it and you start saying, I thought you I'm unsubscribing. Okay. You didn't announce when you did subscribe. You don't need to announce when you're unsubscribing. But like I said, for a guy that's fairly new to politics, some of you guys are amazing. You really are. You are amazing that if anybody were to give some constructive criticism to Trump, who y'all love, which I like Trump too, and y'all respond the way that y'all did, that's very telling of you. Seriously. So to me, when you act like that, you give more power to the ones who call y'all extreme MAGA, the January 6ers. Look at. Y'all literally don't understand that when you respond to ways like that, it just gives them on the left more firepower to make you look like a lunatic and make you look crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's for real. A lot of people you would have thought that a lot of y'all that consider yourself to be conservatives, you would have thought that y'all had a little bit more thicker skin. Y'all had more balls than y'all do. I told y'all, I said it on my radio station. I said a lot of people who consider themselves to be conservative or Republican, y'all are weak. Y'all start crying like a baby when I criticize Trump. Y'all cried like a baby, man. And I told y'all. Well, you don't understand Trump. Well, let me ask you, did you meet Donald Trump? Did you have a conversation with Donald Trump? Guess who did? I did. See this? See that? See the signature on there? Who is that? Who is that? Is that Kayleigh McEnany? Kayleigh McEnany and I speak on the same stage before. I was personally given this hat from Trump, and Kayleigh McEnany signed it, okay? I have a Trump tie, okay? And also, yes, Elisa is signed. And also, look at this. Now, I got to tell y'all, there was some very concerning things regarding Vivek Ramaswamy, y'all. I just posted a video. I'm going to show y'all this. I want y'all to check this out. Look at this. This is what President Trump just got done saying this on Truth Social. This is what Donald Trump has to say about Vivek, y'all. I just posted this on YouTube and I just posted this on Instagram. President Trump said Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter, the best president in generations, etc. He said, unfortunately, now all he does is disguise his support in the form of deceitful campaign tricks. He said, very sly, but a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. This is Trump saying this. He said, don't get duped by this. Vote for Trump. He said, don't waste your vote. Vivek is not MAGA. The Biden indictments against his political opponents will never be allowed in this country. They are already beginning to fall. Then he says MAGA. So some of y'all that are saying Vivek to be VP, I don't know what we feeling about this right now, because we do know a lot of times, like I said, I'm learning in politics, a lot of ones that they claim to be against, a lot of ones they claim to not like, sometimes they pick them to be their VP when they kind of go at each other's throat. But I'm just saying, this is from Donald Trump on Truth Social. That's what he had to say right there. So just throwing that out there for y'all. So this is going to be pretty interesting how a lot of this stuff unfolds. Don't forget, folks, double check to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. All of you guys have something called a cell phone, right? Y'all all got a phone. You got a phone. Are you guys able, right now, before this program begins, are you guys able to go into your phone, let one contact know about this channel? If they're at home right now, just say, hey, tune into this channel called Model Renaissance, man, blah, blah, blah. If they're into politics and might like Donald Trump or might not like Donald Trump, have them watch it. Even if you think that your family, especially black folks, if you think your family don't like Donald Trump, et cetera, have them watch this, because too often, I'm just being real, a lot of people I know that I grew up around in the hood, I already told them what was going on tonight, and I want them to tune in and watch it. Has, nothing to really do with the fact that Trump is going to be in Iowa versus you get to hear him speak openly about, I don't know what he's going to talk about, but we are going to see right here. And people have been saying for a long time that, they only been told that Trump was a racist based off of what the news said. So to be able to hear Trump openly speak is going to be very beneficial for a lot of people. So let me do something real quick here. I'm moving myself right there. There we go. That looks a little better. All right, folks, let me see what's going on right now behind closed doors and see if there's anything new that's being covered here except for those people talking right there in the background. All right, and okay. All right. For those of you that want to know what my Cash App is, I'll post it. It's the money sign. Look, I'm about to type in money sign. Oh my God. That's the Cash App right there. It's just the Cash App sign, Modern Renaissance Man. That's it. So yeah, let's see. In about 10 minutes, I think Trump is supposed to come out and speak. We're going to see what it's about. What y'all can do right now, we have 125 people in here, which I know YouTube has not told everybody that I'm live, but hit that thumbs up button if you appreciate the work that I do here and the things that I push out. Appreciate if you all did that. Ace Gohar said, tread lightly, my friend. For who? Like who you want to tread lightly? Fist of Heaven says, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and vote for Don again. I don't know who's talking to who. Some of y'all, if you guys are trying to address me, make sure you put MRM and then type out your message, because I don't know if y'all talking to other people in the chat session or what. I do not know. So let me know about that. Again, make sure you hit the like button. It helps the video get circulated out there in the YouTube algorithm and all that good stuff. So make sure y'all do that. All right, let me see where the video is right now. Because a lot of times, you know, they'll let me see what they're talking about.
Monitoring the live look there at the facility where he is scheduled to speak at 6:30 here local time in about 5 minutes. And of course tomorrow we're live from Indianola, Iowa, which is just outside of Des Moines. That's on Sunday. And then of course we have two shows on Monday. We have a midday show and we have the primetime caucus review show. Christina Bobb will be joining me for that as she brings her analysis in for this caucus as we go into Iowa. And of course we shift our attention to New Hampshire after this. We've got a great governor there, Chris Sununu. He's Republican. There's an R in front of his name. And he did say, I saw this yesterday, that if Trump is the nominee, he will support him, which is better than some of the people we're still waiting to hear. And
all right, so as y'all can see right there, y'all can see right there, there's still some talking going on. I think what they're doing, they're just kind of like, you know, they're just doing like a little bit of what I'm doing right now until the main event. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to let y'all know something, too. The other day when I was live, there may be some times where I am going to zoom out and, I'm going to disappear and you won't ever see me again. So y'all can kind of focus on what's being said tonight. I don't know why, but some people were telling me that they weren't even able to see the town hall. They can't find it nowhere but on my channel. So I don't know what that's all about, folks. MRM, let's see. Chicago Rilla says, MRM, I'm in the clouds, but for clarity, you're a believer, right? What denomination, if you don't mind? Oh, I'm not Chicago Rilla, I'm not no denomination. At all, sir. I done been in the midst of Baptists, the midst of Methodists, but mainly the way that we were brought up when we finally got into one thing was apostolic Pentecostal, and then just completely away from all of our churches of no denomination. All right, Michael says, MRM, I don't care for Trump, but I will certainly vote for him. Okay. The Works 2983 says, MRM, do you think they are going to pull another election scam? Listen, I think that a whole lot of people are going to be on their toes this time go around. I think that people are going to be so on edge. Folks going to be like this, like, I'm serious. But if I got to say this in a certain way, because y'all know YouTube would do some crazy stuff. Let's just say, if you know where I'm going with what I'm getting ready to say, follow me. If there was something that rhymes, it rhymes with detection, fraud. If the last detection that happened, if there was a detection fraud the last time, whatever they did for that detection fraud, and was able to get away with it, why wouldn't they try it again? Is what I'm going to say on that. Follow me on that. Blind Reaction says MRM, war? Oh, we're already in it. We're already in the war. The minute we got involved with the business with Ukraine and all that stuff like that, we already got involved in the war. And already too. Yeah, y'all just don't know. We're in a war with Russia via Ukraine. We lost an American journalist in Ukraine that was deleted by Ukraine. What are we going to do about that? Chicago Gorilla says, MRM, thanks for that. I'm non-denominational too. I'm trying to follow policy agendas, but the current state of media coverage is too muddy. Absolutely. Fist to Heaven says, just remember, we are not a people of blue or red flags. See the intent and the reaction to the info they get, no matter if it's true or false. We are all victims of fake news. You know what's funny, though? I get what you're saying, Fist to Heavens, but my thing is, fake news should cause us to actually go and study stuff out and look into things ourselves. If you have fake news coming about anything regarding policy and all that things like that you hear over these airwaves, that's why you have to make sure you check with your own state reps, because the news can lie. We see that the news can lie and get away with it and do not care, because they expect you, the American people, not to go and see if what they are saying is indeed true. I told you a lot of times it's an insult. It should be an insult to your intelligence that they think that you are so stupid that the news can tell you anything and y'all are going to do it. Whoopi Goldberg, them on the stupid View show, Whoopi Goldberg said Trump's going to be a dictator. He's going to delete trans people. Like, are you serious? Why would you believe her? Didn't she say like 4 years ago, if Trump becomes the president, I'm leaving America? Why is she still here? I wish she would have left. Appreciate y'all all being in here again. Let me see where it's at, guys. I'm going to check it out. Let's see where it's at. Nope, not that. I'm going to see where they're at with this whole... They're still talking. Just let y'all know. If y'all don't believe me, there it is. See? They're still talking there. And probably I would say, you know, is he supposed to speak at... they're supposed to go and do this at 6:30 Central. I'm on Central Time, by the way. I'm on Central Time. So that's when they're supposed to come out. So we got about another 4 minutes. Or 2 minutes, better yet. Lisa and Dr. 88 says, Lisa and Junior says, MRM, always love your show. Keep it real as always. Trump 2024, appreciate that. Chicago Gorilla said, make the likes match. Yeah, appreciate that. Oh, we got more likes than we do people in here, so that's awesome too. Fist to Heaven says, Obama amended the Smith-Mundt Act to allow propaganda to be disseminated through the media and by Governor Board of Broadcasters, and the Secretary of State is allowed to also. Wow. Wow. Miss Unconventional, a.k.a. Tia, says, this is already an interesting year. I'm already tired tomorrow. Anytime you have to top Dems against Dems, it's not going to work. Yep. Anna, as mom says, MRM, they will, and we can't do a thing. We can't even stop the invasion. Mark Kletcher says, MRM, amen. Believe in faith, not religion. Oh, 100%. Ace said, love your living room. Didn't know you got bread like that, homie. Do you know what I do as a profession? I'm not a YouTuber, by no way. William Lynn says, MRM, the doctor is in, and Trump will be the next president. Let's see. Let's hope so. They're still talking, ladies and gentlemen. Loving the observant, intelligent thinkers in this chat, says Binary B. She said 100 as usual to Miss Unconventional and Fist to Heavens. Anadas, Mom, Mr. Howell, y'all know what's up. Debbie Harkness says, hi, I was late, but I stayed it over. Make sure I didn't miss anything else y'all saying. For the ones who have sent to the Cash App, listen. Don't say to me, hey, I wish I could do more. I do not care. I'm not saying, I don't even say name. If people that have sent $20, $50, $100, $1, $2, I never say how much somebody's sent. I don't care. I respond to you with a heart emoji, whatever like that. It does not matter. And when I read your names off, I just say such and such a name, and I say, God bless you for the super chat. I don't care about, hey, I don't care about the numbers. The only time anybody would know how much you sent me is if you do a super chat in YouTube and it's posted here on YouTube and everybody can see what you sent. So don't feel bad about that. I don't care about the amount. I really don't. I just appreciate it all the same. Chicago Gorilla says, what's your take on all the mudslinging and gossiping from the political arena to sports with Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock to entertainment with Cat Williams blowing the lid off? Man, Chicago Gorilla, honestly, man, I think a lot of things is this. I think when things like happen with Cat Williams, to me, it's more or less of Cat Williams said something that we all knew. Like, but it's different when somebody that is a celebrity that's actually in it tells you. It's just like the equivalent of somebody that's in medicine, right? Somebody says something like, I knew, for some reason I used to always think you can't catch a cold just from simply being wet and going outside. You can't catch a cold that way. People will say, man, I used to think that all the time. And then when they find out from a doctor for real, that no, you can't catch a cold just simply going outside being wet. You can't. Cold is a virus. You catch it from somebody else. Well, why does it happen in the wintertime and you catch cold? Because most of the time you are inside more than you are during the summer. And by you being inside all the time, the air is being recirculated in here. So if anybody go out to their workplace, you take your kids to a daycare or school. If your kids come back with germs during the wintertime, you're in your house, that germs get circulated through your vents and you breathe that back in. That's how you catch a cold. You don't catch a cold just simply being outside and being wet. Well, why do you sniffle and why do you cough when you go outside? Because once that frigid air hits the mucous membranes of your nose produce more mucus just so that frigid air won't irritate the mucous membranes. And you sniffle. That don't mean you got a cold. So what I'm saying that for is some people will say, I always knew that. And my point in saying this stuff with Cat Williams is the same thing. We always knew that Hollywood had a crazy homosexual child sex trafficking Illuminati thing going on. But it took for a celebrity to come out and actually say, yes, it does. DMX said it before. Cat Williams said it before. One guy from B2K, he said it before. Y'all remember that movie, Tyler Perry's movie, Daddy's Little Girls? Those three sisters that played in there? China is coming out and saying this, too. She's been saying it for years. So, yeah, man, I just think a lot of things are just coming out now that, see, here's the thing. When you got people, I'm not just saying me, but you have people out there, they have to compete with us now. See, the world is changing to where most people reality is what's on the internet. So when you got YouTubers like myself, Candace Owens, the Brandon Tatums, Anton Daniels, Aaron O, you got all these people that got these YouTube channels that are producing stuff. These celebrities are having to compete with us now. You see what I'm saying? When they had their own world and having the news networks and all those things like that, we couldn't touch them. But now they're seeing, because even right now, CNN told people, and I wish I could find y'all the video, but I get copyright for it. CNN literally posted me and a few other people on CNN saying, don't listen to these people. They'll steer you the wrong way. They're not real news. We're the real news. Y'all shouldn't listen to people like this guy. And they showed a video of me and a video of some other people. Why? How am I a threat to them? To CNN. MRM, can Biden make me sick? No, you can't catch dementia. Sorry. You can't catch dementia. Sorry about that. Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. Here we go.
You are so right. And, we've got some good Iowans here with us tonight in the audience. So who here was better off financially with President Trump? Yeah.
Hey, I want to know what do you guys think about this right here.
Well, I think
Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter. This is Donald Trump, True Social.
I think that's the answer we have. It's absolutely overwhelming.
He said Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter, the best president in generations.
Better off with Trump.
Unfortunately,
and,
now
a
all he
lot
does
of that
is
was due to your leadership of our booming economy at that time, which was due to your tax cuts, the tax cuts that you put in place. And so, as a follow-up to that, what would happen to our economy if Biden got his way and he allowed your Trump tax cuts to just expire?
Well, you'd have the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. It will be devastating to people that will, on top of inflation and what's happened, and basically a bad economy. It's a bad economy. It's not a real economy. You look at government jobs are up, but other jobs aren't up. But government jobs, that's easy to do. Let's hire more people so we look good. That's like taking the oil out of the strategic reserves. They take it out of the big. We have the lowest amount of oil in the strategic reserves right now than we've ever had. And that's not meant for automobiles for an election. That's meant for military. That's meant for trouble, big trouble in our country. It's meant to protect us. And, they practically drained it in the last election in order to keep prices down. They're trying to do the same thing again. They have done such damage to our country. And then we start talking about the border, okay, the border. We had the worst border in the history of the world. We had the safest border, the best border. I built over 500 miles of wall. People don't, they say, is it a renovation or not a renovation? It's not a renovation. We had a wall that was falling down, demolished, rusted steel, rotted out 2x4s. We'd rip it out. They'd say, oh, that was a renovation when we go up 30 feet high and 9 feet deep. No, we built over 500 miles of wall. We were going to build another 200 miles, which is far more than I said I was going to do. And Mexico, by the way, speaking about Mexico, Mexico paid for 28,000 soldiers, and they were paying much more money than they would have paid for the wall. There was no legal mechanism to do the wall, but it didn't matter because they paid much more money. We had stay in Mexico, not stay. We had stay in Mexico. We kept people in Mexico. Nobody ever did that before, and Mexico behaved, but Mexico had to behave because I was going to tariff them if they didn't, and they were fine. They were actually very good. I like the president a lot. I mean, we get along very well. But Mexico paid a big price to give us the best border that we've ever had in the history of our country. That included drugs. That included terrorists coming in. I saw an interesting stat on a number of the shows. In 2019, they had no terrorists, zero, which I was frankly surprised to hear that. But that was during my term. We had very strong blockages and blocks. So we had nothing. And now we have record numbers of terrorists coming in, record numbers. We had none. I mean, they actually said zero. This is not me, because I would have said it's got to be somebody, but they had nobody. And we had a safe country. We had no attacks. We had no anything. I defeated ISIS. We wiped out ISIS. That was supposed to take 4 years. I did it in a few months. We have a great military when we have the right people, and we have the right people. I know the right people. They're not the television people, not the people that you're reading about, not the person that's now in a hospital running this war from his laptop, which is what I understand he's doing, if he's running it at all. I'm not sure about that, but that was a terrible thing. 5 days we didn't have any idea where our Secretary of Defense was, and we have people wanting to attack our country. So it's a pretty sad situation. We've never been in a position of risk like we are right now, in many ways, but never like we are right now.
Yeah. Well, wow, that is something we hear about everywhere in Iowa is how much Iowans appreciate how you secured the border and what you did to keep us safe. Thank you.
And, it's very interesting because if he just would have left it, he could have gone to the beach because he likes going to the beach. Somebody says he looks good in a bathing suit. That works for him, obviously. So you'd see him at the beach all the time. He could have done that, just left it alone, leave our people there, leave the great people that we had there. And instead, they decided we're not going to build the wall. And they put out a message to the world, come in. Because, when you say that and you say other things, and you have people coming in and going to our schools and taking the places of our students, where they're actually putting our students, the students that were there, in secondary schools, and they're taking the best seats, and they don't even speak English. So they're sitting there, they don't speak English. The whole thing is crazy. You look at what's happened in New York. New York is a disaster right now, and in all fairness, the mayor understands that, and he's saying that. But, you know, some don't speak up, some aren't speaking up. The whole concept of sanctuary cities is going to, I think it's going to fall of its own weight. I think the Democrats aren't going to be able to take it much longer. In some cities, Democrat mayors and governors are saying, we just can't do this anymore. And the truth is, it's not sustainable for this country, even from a cost standpoint. Billions and billions of dollars. People are coming in, and they're coming in from prisons. They're coming in from mental institutions, insane asylums. They're terrorists, they're drug dealers, they're pouring into our country totally unchecked. We have no idea who's coming in. They're coming in from many countries, all parts of the world. They're coming from Africa, they're coming from China, they're coming from all parts of Asia. A lot of people coming from Europe, a lot of people coming from Yemen, okay? We're bombing right now. We have people from Yemen. We had 27,000 people coming in over the last few months from China. And they happen to be from the age of about 19 to 25, just fighting age. It's great, you know. Not women, all men. And it's a very, very sad thing happening to our country. Our country is being overtaken. We're being invaded. That's an invasion. We had the strongest border, now we have the weakest border, and it's an invasion of our country. And Biden is grossly incompetent. The only thing they know how to do is cheat on elections. They're very good at cheating on elections, and they're very good at also going after your political opponent. But they can't do anything else. That's all they're good at. And we're going to teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, President Trump, you are so right. Our border's in chaos with 10,000 unvetted illegals coming into our country every single day, and the kids in New York being told to stay home because their schools are being used to house illegals. I mean, how do you secure the border and reverse Biden's disaster?
Well, we'd go right back to what we were doing. Again, we had the safest border in the history of our country, and we're going to close up the walls. You know, we had 200 miles of walls. We had a lot of wall built. It's laying there ready to be lifted up. They could have had it completed in 3 weeks. And if you remember, because I remember it, it was all ready to go. And they said, we don't want it. And they actually moved the wall away. And in many cases, it's very expensive stuff. It's exactly what Border Patrol wanted. It's steel, concrete, and rebar. It had to have spikes in it. It had to have, it's a very complicated wall. It's a very expensive. They sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. They got rid of it, I think, like scrap metal. And it's not even believable. All they had to do is fill up the gaps. We're going to fill up the gaps, and we're going to end up actually building more. We're going to work with Mexico, but Mexico is not working with us right now. They want to be paid a lot of money. They said, we want $5 billion to start talking to the United States. They would never say that to me. They want $5. The people are pouring through Mexico, and they want $5 to talk. And every time Blinken goes over there or somebody goes over there, it costs us a lot of money. The money that we spend dealing with countries, we give them billions and billions of dollars, and then they don't listen to us. They don't do what we say. And I remember when China respected us 3 years ago a lot. They really respected us. And the first meeting they had where they were lectured to by President Xi and China, we were lectured like we were children. And that would never happen with me, and it never did.
Yeah. Well, and President Trump, as a follow-up, you've also been critical of Nikki Haley's record of opposing the border wall and also criticizing the travel ban. Given the thousands of unvetted illegals that are coming across our southern border every day, why are Nikki Haley's comments dangerous and naive?
Well, she's a globalist, and she works with Koch. It used to be Koch brothers. You know, David Koch I knew very well. He was a nice guy, a member of my clubs and everything else. He was a big supporter in that way, but they're globalists. I'm not. I'm a Make America Great Again. I'm a America First people. It's just America First. It's so simple. I put America first. I always did, and I always will. And frankly, we spend trillions of dollars to other countries. Many of these countries don't respect us. They don't like us. They don't do what we tell them to do. And I stopped that whole process. But Nikki is a person that's getting a lot of her money from globalists, and globalists are not good for our country. They're not good for us. I know Nikki very well. She was my ambassador to the United Nations. And she had a lot of weakness, to be honest. She had a lot of weakness. In fact, I'm not a fan of Chris Christie. I thought he was, third rate. He left with a 9% approval rating. New Jersey, a great state, which I hope to win. I hope we're going to win it. But he made some statements that she's not going to make it. The so-called hot mic. And I don't know if that was a hot mic on purpose or not. I doubt it. But it was certainly a hot mic. I don't think Nikki's strong enough to be president. I know her very well. I know her better than anybody. I moved her there from the governor of South Carolina, and I moved Henry McMaster in. And one of the reasons I gave her that job is I wanted Henry McMaster to be governor. He was lieutenant governor. He's fantastic. You know him. And he's done a great job, but that was one of the reasons I moved her. And she did okay. She was okay, but she's not strong enough to be president. I know her very well.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I think we've got somebody here in the audience that really wants to ask you a question. Joe Mitchell's got a question for you.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. President. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Clearly, it's no secret that our country is in chaos. The world is in chaos. What happened with Yemen and the missile strikes the last few days, Ukraine, Palestine, we don't even know where the Secretary of Defense is right now. Are we on the brink of World War III?
I think we're the closest that we've ever been. And, Joe, this won't be a regular war. This is not going to be, as I say, army tanks running back and forth, shooting each other. These are weapons of mass destruction, the likes of which nobody's ever seen. I've seen them. And this is obliteration. This is not a world war like we are used to. World War I, World War II were terrible, horrible. This is so much bigger than that. This is, like annihilation. And we have people that can't put two sentences together. Our president can't speak. He can't speak a full sentence. And he's negotiating with Putin, and he's negotiating with President Xi of China, who's very tough and very smart. I say that, and the media says, oh, you called him smart. Yeah, he's smart. He's very smart. He controls 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. I'd say that's smart. And he's a guy who loves China. And these are people that love their country, or certainly whether they love their country or not, they want to make their country great again, right? Like we're doing. We were doing things at this country that nobody's ever seen. Then COVID came in. We did a great job with that, but never got the respect for the job we did with COVID. Nobody knew what it was. All over the world, it was ripping countries apart. The damage China did, and I always said it came from Wuhan, and it did. It came from Wuhan, and it was the damage done to this world. $61 trillion, they figure. That's more than China has. That's more than everybody has put together. $61 trillion in damage. I don't know if you've ever heard that number, but that's, wow. And it's probably a relatively accurate number. They really put the world back many, many years, what they've done. And it's so sad to see that. But nobody's ever done the job. We rebuilt the military. We gave the largest tax cuts in history. We gave the largest regulation cuts in history. Even from a health standpoint, right to try. We did right to try. That's space age stuff. We have the best labs, the best doctors in the world. And we'd have things that won't come out for 4 or 5 or 6 years. They won't be approved. And I got it done. And they've been trying to get that done for 54 years. I got it done. And it saved thousands and thousands of lives. Nobody wanted it. The health companies didn't want it. The labs didn't want it. The doctors didn't want it. And the country didn't want it because everybody felt they were going to have liability. I got everybody in a room. The insurance companies didn't want it. I got them in a room. I said, look, the patient's going to sign no liability to anybody. And they were willing to do that. And we've saved thousands and thousands of lives. And it's shown in many cases that the drugs really work. The drug companies didn't want it because they didn't want to take terminally ill people. The people that were terminal, and it was incredible because they'd say for years, we don't want to take a chance because if they get sick, I said, they're terminal. It's like that. These are really sick people. These are people that will be dead. They are dying. And they will have the right to use it, and they have had, and we've saved thousands and thousands of lives. And actually, it's been the opposite effect. Some of these drugs are so good that it actually proved that they were good, as opposed to, the liability factor that the drug companies were worried about. So we're very proud of everything we did. We're the greatest economy in the history of our country. And again, the biggest tax cuts in history, and that is substantially bigger than Ronald Reagan's tax cuts, and he did it. Now, the Democrats want to have that elapse. You know, it expires relatively soon, and that was a 5-year deal. It expires, and if that's allowed to expire, your taxes are going to go up at numbers that the biggest tax increase in history, and it'll also be very bad for the economy of, for the country. You know, it's interesting. When I cut the taxes to that tremendous extent, including for businesses, everybody said, oh, wow, it's not going to be income. We take in much more income now than we did before with the higher tax rates. If they allow that to expire, which they'd like to do, I believe, I think they have a tremendous liability, because even politically, why would you vote for somebody that's going to raise your taxes by 75%? And that's what you're going to be doing. If you vote for crooked Joe Biden, and he's crooked as you can be, there's never been a president more crooked than this guy. If you vote for him, and remember this, he got a lot of money from China, he got a lot of money from Ukraine, he got a lot of money from Russia. Do you remember during the debate when I said, how come you got $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? And Chris Wallace wouldn't let me ask that question. He said, well, I have to stop you. What is that? Well, that's become a very big subject. Why did he get it? And he can't answer why he got it. But we have sort of a Manchurian candidate in there. He's a guy who's very compromised, in my opinion. And that's why China's getting away with murder. You know, China now is not doing well because of my tariffs. They cannot take the tariffs off because it's so much money coming into our country that they can't really justify taking the tariffs off. And I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Hundreds of billions. No other president ever took in 10 cents. And I got along great with President Xi until COVID. That was a step too far. I couldn't do it. But I had a great relationship with him. But he was not thrilled with the tariffs. But we took in hundreds of billions of dollars. Think of it. And no other president ever took in not 10 cents. And we were really rocking and rolling. And then this guy comes into office, and it's so bad. And we're a laughingstock as a country. As you know, we're a laughingstock all over the world. Very sad. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. Well, Ukraine's also been a big hot-button issue on the campaign trail. And Biden, DeSantis, Haley, they all want to send more weapons and more money to keep the war going. What do you think should be done with regard to Ukraine?
Well, I think, again, Europe has to start paying, because I feel very badly for the people. It's so terrible. But remember this, Russia's a war machine. They defeated Hitler. They defeated Napoleon. That's what they do. A friend of mine, a great guy. A lot of people maybe think he's a little tough, but that's okay. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary. He knows those countries very well. He's right there. He knows them very, very well, intimately. And he will tell you, Russia's this monster machine. We knock out 60 tanks, and everybody's bragging about the 60 tanks, but they've got 12,000 more tanks right behind them, 12,000. Wow. And they actually have a lot more than that. So it's a very tough thing, and you look at the damage that's been done. Here's the most important thing. It would have never happened, and it didn't happen, and it was unthinkable. I used to talk to Putin about it. It was the apple of his eyes, and I said, don't ever do it, don't ever do it. And we had great talks about it. He would have never done it. And he wouldn't have done it for two reasons. Number one, because I said, don't do it. But you know what else? I had it down at $40 a barrel. As soon as I got out, Biden did horrible moves, and it went to $100 a barrel. At $100 a barrel, he was making so much money. He had the money to prosecute the war. So that was another reason. He wouldn't have done it anyway. But, the other one, and we'll bring it right up to date, is Israel would have never been attacked. If you know, and I think I think most people know, that Iran was broke during my administration. They were dead flat broke. And I said to China, and I said to other countries, if you buy oil from Iran, you cannot do anything having to do with the U.S. You cannot do any business with us. You're out of business. And they all make money with us. They do a lot of trade, and most of their trade deals are negotiated by other people, and they weren't the greatest. But that's the only thing good about making bad trade deals, is you have other countries that'll do whatever you want because they don't want to lose it. But what happens is, I said, don't do it. And China didn't buy. China bought nothing practically, and they all backed down. And now he took all those sanctions off. He took all of that threat off. And I would say they have in excess of $200 billion, Iran, all made in the last few years, not to mention the $6 billion that they got on the hostage. You know, we had 5 hostages. They gave them $6 billion for 5 hostages. Those must be pretty important hostages. 2 of them were hikers. 2 of them were, you know, hey, if you decide to go hiking in Iran, you have a liability. You just don't do that, okay? We don't have to give a billion for the 2 of you, but we gave, and we also gave $10 billion for selling electricity to Iraq, and yet they control Iraq. Iraq is like a subsidiary, and remember, Iraq is now controlled by Iran. That was the stupidest war, I have to tell you. That was the stupidest, most. I used to say, and I think you remember this when I was a civilian in the true sense, but I got a lot of press. But I'd say, don't ever go into Iraq. But if you do go in, keep the oil. Remember that? Keep the oil. If you go in, but don't do it. But if you do, keep the oil. They didn't keep the oil. We're the only country where we go in, we obliterate somebody. We never keep anything. We just get stuck in these endless wars. And I got us out of Syria. I got us out of Iraq. I got us out of everywhere, and we defeated ISIS. ISIS was a big thing. We knocked out al-Baghdadi. Al-Baghdadi, the leader and founder of ISIS, he was trying to rebuild it again. We remember Conan the dog? Conan did a good job. Conan almost got electrocuted, but Conan did a good job. He heard Conan coming, and that was the end of him. But we went in, and they were after him for 20 years. I got him. And we did a hell of a job. And these people are not doing a good job. Now, I know the 2 people we're talking about, because before we get to Biden, we have to knock off 2 people, and sort of 3 people. I don't think there's a lot of threat beyond the 2, but I don't think the 2 have much threat right now either. If you're leading Nikki in South Carolina by 60 points, that's not bad. You know, she was the governor of South Carolina. You shouldn't be leading by 60 points. I don't like her. But we should be able to, I think we have a huge advantage here, because the only thing is I just landed in an airplane, and it's nasty out there. You know, from the airplane to the car was about 20 feet, and I'm saying, wow, you're blowing it. You have a hard time reaching it. But it's getting better. I worry about that, but at the same time, I'm watching even the newscast today. They're saying the Trump voter has so much more spirit, dedication. They say they'll walk over it last, that the Trump voter's coming to vote. Yes. Their voters aren't necessarily. That's a big thing. They got to come to vote.
Well, I think you can tell the Trump voter is coming to vote. I mean, look at all the enthusiasm here in this room, and it's all over the whole state. And, you know, we're used to it being cold, dark, you know, snowy in January. Yeah. But we're also, we remember what it was like when you were president, and people are on fire. They are going to make it happen on caucus night. They're not going to stay in their warm house. They're going to go and they're going to caucus for you, President Trump. We just need to make sure everybody gets out and does that for you.
I hope that's right. And I think it is. They just had a poll. They just had a poll that just came out as I was leaving. I don't know, there's so many polling companies, but they're all very good. We had one fake poll that came out of CNN, and, you know, Fox puts it on, everybody puts it on. They're so happy. But even that, I was leading by like 9 points. You know, it's pretty good when you're leading by 9 points. This is in New Hampshire. In Iowa, I'm leading by 30 and 35 and 40 points in every poll. They can't find a bad one, so they, you know, try and report it as little as possible. But here we're leading big. In New Hampshire, I think we're leading really big outside of one fake poll, you know, fake news CNN. And that's why nobody watches it anymore, right?
That's right.
But we're doing great in New Hampshire also, I think. Really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, you know, I want to talk a little bit, too, about Social Security and Medicare, because that's something that's important to a lot of people. And Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley have both called for raising the retirement age and making major cuts to Social Security and Medicare benefits. And when you were president, you protected Social Security and Medicare for American seniors, and you promised to do so again in your second term. Tell us why that's so important to you.
First of all, you've earned it. I mean, they've earned it. They want to cut it, and they also want to, you know, the Medicare, they want to cut that. And why are you doing this? We have more liquid gold right under our feet. We have so much wealth in this country. and we don't want to do it. We want to go to all electric cars so that we don't use our wealth. You know, China has that kind of wealth because they have the battery wealth. But electric cars don't go far. They're very expensive, and they're going to all be made in China. That's why I think we had a poll just come out, and we're 11 points up in Michigan because the auto workers, and you know, South Carolina way up to wherever you make autos, because the auto workers understand if you go all electric, you're making those cars in China. They're not going to be made here. They're going to be made in China. And in addition to that, you should be able to buy electric cars, but you have to buy gasoline, combustion. You have to buy anything you want. You shouldn't be restricting it to electric. You go to California. I was there this summer, and you have blackouts and brownouts all the time. And now we're supposed to, they want all their cars to be all electric. The problem is, though, with the car, the batteries are somewhat expensive, but they're really, they can be very dangerous, you know that, and they can be very big. They take up a lot of room, like they want to go all electric trucks. And half of the capacity that the truck is supposed to use for load is going to be a battery. But the other problem is they just don't go far. They just don't go far. A truck will go 300 miles, a big, you know, an 18-wheeler, go 300 miles, and on gasoline, you take a Peterbilt or, you know, one of the great companies that really do great jobs, they'll go 2,000 miles. So you go 2,000 miles on diesel, and the tank for the diesel is very small compared to the battery. The battery, to go even 300 or 400 miles, is much, much bigger than the tank. So they're going to have to devote a lot of that. And some of the things that I stopped, they want to go all electric Army tanks, okay? The problem is they don't go far, and it's a different kind of power also, by the way, but they don't go far. You know, you say, what are they doing? And I somewhat joke, I'm trying to be sarcastic about it. I say, they go in to obliterate a country, an enemy, because they want to make the atmosphere nice and safe, nice and clean. We want a pure, clean atmosphere as we knock the country to hell. The whole thing is crazy, and the battery is so big that to do it properly, they'd have to pull a truck behind it to carry the battery. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable.
So they want to do that. They want to do the boat. Now they want to do boats. They want boats to be all electric. The whole thing is so crazy. I call it the Green New Scam. Yeah. Not the Green New Deal. It's a Green New Scam. Right. Terrible.
Yeah. Well, and President Trump, you're way up in the polls. You know, you're winning big. But Biden has weaponized our justice system against his leading opponent, and that's you. And he's trying to dampen our enthusiasm of our movement, and he's committing election interference. And
election fraud. Yeah. He's a fraud. No, it's never happened before in the history. It's happened in third world countries. It happens like in banana republics. Never happened in this country, at least nothing like this. And they go around, and you see what's going on. Look at it as an example, because it's all coordinated. Look at Georgia, what happened there. And now that's turned into a massive scandal where the prosecutor was getting all sorts of money. I think that deranged Jack Smith is a totally compromised prosecutor. I mean, he's got some bad stuff, really bad stuff, and dangerous stuff for the country. But these are bad people. They're really bad people, and they've never done this before. When a candidate is willing to weaponize against his political opponent, you no longer really have a democracy. And I think I'm doing very well with it. You know, it's very interesting. I don't think it's ever happened before to another candidate where something like this would happen on obviously a much smaller scale. But they announced on one of the networks today that I'm leading by more than any candidate has ever led in history. Now, we still have to, you know, go out and vote, because we have to do it with facts. Polls don't mean anything, but in the polls, we have the best numbers ever. I don't believe I'd have numbers as high. I think I'd be leading by a lot because we did a great job. You know, they're going on what we did all together. But I don't think I'd be leading by anywhere near as much. When you see a national poll came out today, 71. I'm at 71. Ron DeSanctimonious is at like 9. And I think Nikki's at 9 or 10. And she may be replacing him. He spent... You know, he's gone through about $250 million, and he's only gone down, so there's something wrong. But if they didn't weaponize, I probably wouldn't be doing as well. So that tells you the people understand it. I got all these judges, they hate me, like in New York, they hate me. It's so, you know, it's radical left, crazy judges. They're crazy. And you take a look at what's happening. You have trials, and they give you a verdict before the trial starts. They gave me a verdict in New York before the trial starts. I had another one. I have to go, and I said, could we have a day off? My wife's incredible mother. This was an incredible woman. My wife loves her so much. The First Lady, her mother died. And one of the most incredible people. And the judge says, essentially, you can't go to the funeral because we're not going to give you the time. So if I go to the funeral, I can't be at the trial. They're not going to hold up the trial. Now think of it. There's a radical left judge, Kaplan. There's a radical left judge appointed by Clinton. And that's the way it is. The Democrats play that way. The Republicans don't. Republican judges, in all fairness, they want to be, they go overboard. If I appoint somebody, they go overboard to give the other side the benefit of the doubt, okay? Absolutely overboard. Whereas the Democrats, if they get appointed by Obama or Biden, they're down and dirty. They say, I don't care. It's a whole different thing. And people can say that's not true, but it's totally true. Republicans, they want to go out of their way to show that they're not influenced or they're not biased or that they're fair, and they're really hurting our country. The Democrats are, you just see it in New York. You see these judges. He gives me a verdict that I'm guilty, and my lawyers go up. We don't even know how has it happened. The trial didn't start. He knows nothing about me. They don't have the facts. They have the figure. Then they say about Mar-a-Lago, the judge ruled it was worth $18 million, but it's actually worth over $1 billion. He said $18 million. And everyone says, how do you get that? Now, I'm not, it's an incredible property. It's just a question of what's it worth. People come in. It's worth a lot of money. He said it was worth $18 million. That's a lot of money, too. But in Palm Beach, it's not. In Palm Beach, it's less than a starter house. It's crazy, right? Palm Beach, Florida. But they make corrupt rulings in order to try and prove their case. And they do it, and they do it against us. And the system, the legal system is a mess in our country. It's a mess. Absolutely, it's a disgrace what's going on with judges. And again, Democrat judges, especially the radical left Democrats, say what you want. I was scolded once by a certain Supreme Court justice who I like and respect. He said, no, you have Trump judges, you have Obama judges, you have judges. They're all judges. They're all essentially the same. I said, I disagree with that. It's just the way it is. I disagree. Republican judges, they go out of their way. And, you know, we have some very big decisions coming up, like immunity as an example. Mm-hmm. A president of the United States has to have immunity, because if you don't have immunity, every president that leaves office will be indicted by the sitting president of an opposing party. When I say every, most of them, okay, most of them. They'll say, oh, like in the case of Obama, he sends missiles in and he kills a lot of civilians. Or the case of Biden, the wall. Not building it, for him not to finish those open areas. For him to allow people.
Are the YouTube guys that be getting mad?
Say, well, wait a minute, I don't want to get indicted as soon as I leave. And you'll make some decisions that are.
Come on now, YouTube. Don't get mad now. Come on, YouTube.
That you have had a target on your back since day one. You really have. You really have.
Come on now, bruh. Wow. They probably made us skip over some very important information.
Fake poll, but she had a good poll where she was up on Biden. But she hasn't had that since. She's getting killed by Biden. She's losing everywhere to Biden. And they used the one poll that was very early that was absolutely ridiculous. And I'm beating him in every poll. Every single poll now, I'm beating him by a lot. And she's going to lose. She's not going to be able to beat Biden. And it's not Biden. People say, how could the guy, he can't walk off a stage. He can't find the stairs. If a stair is right there when you finish with your speech, he's looking all over. He's trying to find the stair, and they have to send people up to take him. But the whole thing is crazy. I don't really think he's going to run, but let's see what happens. I think they're going to stop him. I don't believe they're going to let him. But if he does, that's fine. And if whoever it may be, we just have to win because their ideology is so bad. Right. But how do you do that where a friend of mine said, you're up 11 on Biden. How come? And he's not a political person, but a very smart person, big businessman, called me up. He said, how can you only be winning by 11? Well, 11's a lot in the world of politics, but you have to understand they have the unions, but I think we've broken into the unions now. I think we're going to have the unions other than the top people. We may even have some of the top people, as you probably just saw. But they have the unions, and they have civil service, but we treat civil service too. They have tremendous welfare votes, and they have the welfare vote, and they have a base of about 38, 39%. It was interesting because let's say they have 39%. We have to do it the old-fashioned way. We have to run the East Coast. We have to run all sorts of places like Iowa. We have to run everything, and we have to win like we did in 2016. And we did much better in 2020, getting millions. I mean, we got millions more votes than we did in 2016. We did actually much better. People say, oh, well, I don't know, how's that? But most people understand what happened, okay? Most people understand what happened. We did so much better in 2020. Look, 2016 was unique, and it was a big surprise to a lot of people, except for the people that went to rallies and all, It's interesting. We'd have a rally, 2020 also, we'd have a rally, and we'd have 35, 40,000 people show up on one-day notice, right? Yeah. And he announced for 2 weeks that he's coming, and they couldn't fill the 8 circles. You know those beautiful circles? They were nice. They were actually very nice. They did a good job. I'd like to find the person. I'm into the world of construction and things. They did a beautiful job. They had to use the fake news media to fill them up. So they have people from CNN standing in a circle. And then they'd say, oh, Trump didn't win Arizona. I mean, I left Arizona. We had 48,000 people. He left Arizona. He literally couldn't fill up the circles. And then we hear we lost by a whisker. We lost just by this much. We've got to clean up our elections. Yeah. We've got to clean them up because we have to clean up our borders. Our borders and our elections. Have to do it.
Yeah. Well, Mr. President, caucus night is coming right up. Yep. It is Monday night. And we need everybody to find out where their caucus is, come to their caucus, come early at 6:30, bring your ID. Yep. The caucus starts at 7, yep. And you cannot be late. There's no late voting in a caucus. You have to be there on time. What is your message to your strong Trump supporters who see the dirty tricks from Biden that are designed to suppress the Trump vote? And what is your message to your supporters who see you ahead in polling and they wonder if their vote matters?
Well, that's a big thing. So we're leading by a lot in all the polls, and you have to get out because we have to send a message, most importantly for November, because we have to beat this guy. And, if you say, gee, we're leading by a lot, but let's not get in, especially with weather like this, you just have to get out. And a friend of mine said, they're hardy people in Iowa, and they are hard. I know plenty of them, and you're one of them. Right? So you're one of the great attorney generals in the country, and I have to say, before we get off, it was such an honor to get your very early endorsement, and really something that was very special, and it meant a lot to me, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I was glad to do it because we need you back as president. Iowa wants you back. The whole country wants you back in the White House. We need you. Thank you.
Good job. We will not let you down. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I think we heard it straight from you. It's absolutely important that people show up to their caucus site 6:30 Monday night.
That's right.
You have a big lead, but you need them to be there for you to send that big message to Biden and to the whole country that sometimes the road to the White House starts in Iowa. This time it ends in Iowa, right? Yeah.
And it's very important to me because Iowa, I think of two things. I think of farmers, but you have a lot of other business, but I think of farmers and I think of politics. And you're first in the nation because of me, not because of the governor, not because of anyone else, you're because of me. Because I put you there. It was up to me, and I put you there. And there was tremendous, really blowback on doing it. They wanted to put you further back. You're not that big, and some people say you don't represent the country. I think you represent the country as well as anybody or better than anybody. To me, Iowa is such a great institution, having it first in the nation. And I kept you there. As you know, the Democrats moved. They left. They fled town. And I'm sure they're going to remember that, but it looks like we're going to beat them pretty easily in this state anyway. But it was an honor for me to keep you first in the nation. I fulfilled my promises. I fulfilled my promises on ethanol. I got the farmers $28 billion. You know, I said, I guess a couple of people came to say, please don't be so arrogant about getting the Iowa vote. I said, look, I got them $28 billion from China. Do you think Biden would get you $28 billion? He'll lose you $28 billion. And the farmers did. That was one of the greatest deals I made, but I don't talk about it. It was with China because of COVID. I don't even talk about it. But $28 billion, took care of your ethanol, took care of every problem you had. There's nobody, it's been said in even editorials, there's nobody that's done more for Iowa than Donald Trump when I was president. And it was really, really an honor to do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump. And now we're going to stay tuned for a special message from Team Trump that explains the caucus process.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's important.
Making America great again starts one place on earth, and one place only. Right here in Iowa. Monday, January 15th, 7 p.m. Be there, because it's caucus night. Now you may say to yourself, Self, I've never been to a caucus. How does it work? You've come to the right place. Because for the next 2 minutes, Marlon's going to tell you everything you need to know about how to successfully caucus for President Trump.
Caucusing is super easy. Before we get going, let's make sure you are eligible to caucus. Time to check with the lawyers. For that, here's Margot from the law firm of Dewey, and Chittister.
To vote at a caucus, you must be at least 18 years old. But here's the kicker. That's 18 by November 5th of 2024, Election Day.
Okay, so now you know you're eligible to vote in the Iowa caucus. Woohoo! How simple is it to caucus? As simple as this. Wait, that's the wrong one. As simple as this. 3 easy steps. Step 1, make sure you're eligible. Done. Okay, step 2, do you know where your caucus location is? Now be careful, the correct answer isn't necessarily your regular voting location. I'm throwing you a lifeline here. You can easily find your caucus location and lots of other information by going to donaldjtrump.com/Iowa caucus. Now, a quick time management lesson. It's Monday, January 15th, Caucus Day. You wake up at 5 a.m. because you are so excited to caucus for President Trump. So what time should you get to your caucus location? Aren't you the go-getter? You don't need to be to your caucus location until 6 p.m., so no excuses for being late. And finally, step 3, register once you get to your caucus. Now, if the line is long, don't panic. I said don't panic. Sorry. The lines move very quickly, and once you're in line, you can't be turned away, so hang in there. Okay, starting exactly at 7 p.m., it's time for democracy to begin. First, you will hear a few brief speeches. Then paper ballots for voting will be distributed, collected, and counted, all in front of you. Easy peasy. And that's the first step to making President Trump our next president and making America great again.
Nice to see President Trump sit down with the people and talk about the issues that are concerning to them.
Yes, and this the people that are going to vote him in come November, and so
Don't worry, I was telling my wife that I'm almost done. Okay, so don't worry about it. I know there was no sound. I wasn't talking to y'all. So anyway, what I want to tell y'all is this. Although this whole thing on YouTube, I appreciate you guys' comments. I appreciate y'all throwing in your opinions and everything like that. Huh? Okay, now. Fatal, you a little bipolar. No, I'm just messing with you. I know you probably typed that, and by the time you typed and hit enter, I started talking. So no. So what I wanted to say is that when it comes to being in the chats, a lot of times, y'all, it's okay for you to voice your opinion and different things like that. Mark, M-A-R-C, Mark. I was clear when I asked you to not use capitalization because what will happen is not me. I don't care. YouTube will flag you when you use all caps because for some odd reason their stupid policy has it in there that if you use all caps and all that, they consider that to be like a type of harassment. So what they will do, they will start to flag you, which means if I make videos in the future that are pre-recorded or even live, the minute you try to make a comment, YouTube will just hide your comment because they consider you to be harassing. So I try to tell you that. So you telling me that you're blind, I don't believe that because you were clearly able to read what I wrote when I initially said, try not to use all caps, and then my moderators told you too. But for those of you that are in here that's giving your opinion of Trump, there's a lot of repeated messages that are coming in through here about Donald Trump, which we all are seeing it in here. You got a right to state your opinion. If you don't think Trump is going to do good, all that good stuff, you have a right to say all that. One thing we got to watch out for, ladies and gentlemen, is that you can't be in here harassing people and threatening people because YouTube will frown on that. And they will literally go to your channel and they will delete your account and they will trace your account back to your email and not allow you to have emails. They will even go to the extent of tracing your IP address. And if you try to formulate another Gmail account to form another YouTube account, they will keep you from doing that. So I'm just trying to say that as a warning. Most people think that it has something to do with me per se, or even my moderators letting y'all know. It's not my moderator's fault. They're only doing what they were told to do. They know some of the rules and policies. They've been in this thing for a while with me, so they know how to hold it down. So it's not like they're trying to get on y'all and tell y'all what to do. They're actually doing it, and so am I. We're doing it in a way to protect you, so YouTube AI won't come after you. Trust me. I learned from being banned. Like, I got censored and shut down for a week, shut down for 2 weeks, to where they literally banned my whole entire channel until I had legal action against them. But anyway, this is going to be kind of like one of those deals where a lot of people are going to have some different things to say about this. People are going to state their opinion. People are going to say what they feel Trump is going to do, what Trump is not going to do. That's all going to be up for grabs and up for, at the discretion of you, the voter, which we will see. This is going to be, to me, this is going to be a very, very interesting year for all of us. It's going to be very interesting. And don't y'all find it strange that they're saying things like, we don't think it's going to be Joe Biden running again. We don't think, like the fact that all these rumors are starting to go around like Joe Biden is not going to make it. Well, I've been saying that from day one when he first got in, and the minute I seen signs of, mild dementia going on with him. But this new thing is starting to get out there. This new thing is starting to get out there about, an Obama getting back into the White House. And Obama is supposed to be getting back into the White House. So, that's going to be really interesting right there. And then y'all know the whole thing with Gavin Newsom. I don't know. But again, to the ones tonight, and I'm going to show you guys this. For those of you that says, we want Vivek Ramaswamy to be in there. I know, but I'm just telling you, I don't know what's going on that made Donald Trump. I don't know what's going on that made Donald Trump make that comment about Vivek. Like, some of you guys weren't here. I posted a video earlier, and I'll show it to y'all right here. Give me a second. I'm going to pause it. But check this out. This is what Trump wrote about Vivek. Like, he wrote this today. Trump wrote this. For you, the one here earlier, this is what that's what Trump had to say about Vivek. Can y'all see that? Trump said Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter. He said, the best president in generations. He said, unfortunately now all he does is disguise his support in the form of deceitful campaign tricks. Very sly, but a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Don't get duped by this. Vote for Trump. Don't waste your vote. Vivek is not MAGA. The Biden indictments against his political opponents will never be allowed in this country. They are already beginning to fall. MAGA. End quote. For former President Donald Trump. I don't know what's going on, but we are going to see. I'm pretty sure Vivek is going to see that, and I want to know what his response to that is going to be. That's going to be very interesting, y'all. So, anyway, yeah. Appreciate you guys all being here. Don't forget to hit that like button before y'all get out of here. Let me know what y'all think of this comment right here once I get done shutting this thing out. And just like all things, folks, and I really mean it, I am Ty Smith, model Renaissance man, and I hope and pray that every last one of you guys have food, shelter, and clothing, most of all. I pray every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus. What's going on, everybody? So, hey, check this out. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to view these videos. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and